Russian and Ukrainian forces battle over islands in the Dnipro River. Over the past months, Russia has intensified its offensive operations across multiple fronts in Ukraine. Of these operations, a small-scale series of battles along the Dnipro River in the Kherson Oblast may carry very significant consequences. Russian and Ukrainian forces are fighting for control of the Kozatskyi and Kruhlyk islands, which are located at the river's mouth where it empties into the Black Sea. This operation is strategically important since securing these islands would allow Russia to control access to the Dnipro River, a key geographic feature in Ukraine. The Dnipro River stretches over 2,200 kilometers from Russia's Valdai Hills to the Black Sea, dividing Ukraine in two. Several major Ukrainian cities, including Kiev, are situated along its course. The river has played a pivotal role in the conflict. The Russian 61st Marine Brigade has been launching amphibious operations to seize the Kozatskyi and Kruhlyk islands. Gaining control of these islands would enable Russia to position artillery to control access to the river. The artillery could also provide support for bridging operations, allowing Russian forces to cross the river and attempt to retake Kherson. However, the islands lie within Ukraine's artillery range, and the 126th Territorial Defense Brigade are countering the Russian assaults. Neither side has yet to fully secure these islands. The availability of equipment has been the decisive factor in many engagements during the Russia-Ukraine war and will likely be a crucial factor in this operation as well. In particular, both sides need small boats to assault and claim the islands. Russian forces have amassed a fleet of 300 boats, primarily rigid-hull inflatable boats, to ferry troops to the islands to launch rapid assaults. These boats allow for quick movement in shallow waters and are difficult to detect, particularly at night. The Russian boats have mounted weapon systems, including machine guns and grenade launchers, transforming these vessels into agile combat platforms. Meanwhile, war map reveals Russian advances as Ukraine's fortifications destroyed. Russian forces have destroyed Ukraine's defenses in parts of the Donetsk Oblast, it has been reported, as a map shows the state of play along the front line. Russia has been increasing its gains towards the Donetsk logistics hub of Pokrovsk, which is central to its goal of taking the whole region. Ukraine's Khortytsia operational strategic group of forces fighting in that part of the wider Donbas region added to the downbeat assessment of Kyiv's fortunes in Donetsk by saying that Russian assaults on fortifications in some places had made it impossible to hold them further. The group fighting for Kyiv said on Telegram that Russian forces had retreated after unsuccessfully trying to improve their tactical positions around the villages of Blahodatny and Yelizavetivka. Russia carried out assault operations south of Storozhev, Suki Yali, Kostiantinople, and Vesely High, and as a result of fire damage, fortifications in some positions were destroyed, which made it impossible to hold them further. As a result of exhausting clashes, the enemy improved the tactical position in the area of Pushkino, Pishchain, as well as to the west and east of the settlement of Shevchenko, said the Post, next to a map that showed the hotspots of the entire front line. As fierce fighting continues in the Ukrainian region where Russian troops are making marginal gains, a map by the Washington, D.C.-based think tank Institute for the Study of War showed the developments on this part of the front line. These included Russian seizures of Novotroitsk and Zoraya on Thursday, as well as Moscow's advances that day in southwestern Kurakov, Shevchenko, and 4 villages further south that Ukrainian forces no longer have control of. Russia is occupying another 5 villages in Donetsk located around Uspanivka. Mykola Koval, head of the press service for the 14th Chervona-Kalina Brigade of Ukraine's National Guard, struck a more optimistic tone, telling Ukrainian television on Thursday that Russian forces had suffered heavy losses in their bid to break through from the left or the right flank. Recently, in the Pokrovsk sector, the 33rd Assault Battalion's assault troops managed to conduct a successful operation and capture an occupant's dugout. The 33rd Assault Battalion said the operation had taken place. The Russians placed the fortifications in a forested area which was supposed to facilitate defense and camouflage. Russian troops have been advancing toward Pokrovsk virtually nonstop for about 10 months after having occupied Avdiivka in late February 2024. During this time, they managed to travel almost 50 kilometers deep into Ukrainian territory and approach the last major industrial center of the Donetsk region under the control of the Ukrainian Defense Forces. The Ukrainian command managed to slow down the enemy's rapid advance in late summer by redeploying reserves. Previously, the soldiers of the Special Operations Center Omega of the National Guard of Ukraine stormed enemy trenches in the Pokrovsk sector.